Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Egypt's parliament unanimously approves a 3-month nationwide state of emergency, which will give the country's security forces wide-ranging powers to combat extreme Muslim groups, including the Islamic State. French President Francois Hollande urges the international community to take advantage of the situation that emerged after the U.S. strike on Syria, to clarify that only through negotiations for a political solution the future of Syria can be decided. President Vladimir Putin says that Moscow would not tolerate Western criticism of its role in Syria, but hoped that attitude would eventually soften. Egyptian churches in the southern city of Minya announced they will not hold Easter celebrations next Saturday in mourning of their 45 Christian brothers and sisters that were killed on Palm Sunday this week in 2 church bombings by Islamic State terrorists. The churches in Minya province, which has the highest Christian population in Egypt, announced that the celebrations will only be limited to the liturgical prayers without any festive manifestations. Meanwhile, Egypt's parliament unanimously approved a 3-month nationwide state of emergency, which will give the country's security forces wide-ranging powers, as was declared by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who aims to eradicate the intensified efforts by extreme Muslim groups, including the Islamic State, to target innocent civilians, primarily Egypt's Christian minority.
وتأخر شوية اللي كان المفروض نعمله قبل كده ما نستناش دلوقتي يعني كنا قدرنا الحوادث الأخرانية دي كلها كنا قدرنا نقاومها ويقدر الأمن يقدر يتصرف وياخد إجراءات تحول دون اللي حصل ده كله. هو جه متأخر فاحنا في حاجة له واحنا كلنا بنأيده وكلنا موافقين عليه ومش هيمس أي واحد كويس في البلد. هو ده معمول للإرهاب والخلايا الإرهابية والناس كلها سواء هنا أو في سيناء. هيساعد الدولة في انها تقدر تفرض سيطرتها ونقدر نحمي بلدنا ونحمي مؤسساتنا ونحمي دور العبادة.
Meanwhile, in Europe, leaders of southern member states of the EU held meetings in the Spanish capital Madrid, during which they discussed their united approach to the Syria conflict, as well as the growing efforts of Islamist groups in the Middle East to target its Christian minority. In a joint press conference following the meeting, Italian Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni declared that interreligious dialogue was the answer to the rise of Muslim attacks against Christians, while noting that a visit by Pope Francis to Egypt at the end of this month will focus on fostering greater Catholic-Muslim dialogue.
Credo che la risposta nel dialogo interreligioso, oltre che nella solidarietà all'Egitto, sia una risposta fondamentale ed è utile che sia una delle missioni della prossima visita del Santo Padre in Egitto.
Pope Francis is scheduled to travel to Egypt on the 28th of April for a 2-day visit, during which he's expected to meet with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the Grand Imam, who is the most senior Muslim figure in the country, as well as Pope Tawadros II, who has the Egyptian Coptic Orthodox Church. Now, with regard to the ongoing conflict in Syria, French President Francois Hollande said the military strike by the United States against the Assad regime was legitimate, but urged international actors to take advantage of the situation that emerged thereafter, in which the international community must clarify that only through negotiations for a political solution, the future of Syria can be decided.
Donc il était très important qu'il y ait une réponse. Cette réponse est venue des États-Unis. Nous l'avons comprise parce qu'il devait y avoir une réponse. Mais nous devons aussi utiliser cette situation qui ramène la Syrie et son régime à l'obligation d'aller vers une négociation et vers une transition politique, qui conduit les Russes à ne pas penser qu'ils peuvent déterminer seuls l'avenir de ce pays avec l'Iran. Nous devons tout faire pour que l'Europe puisse être un élément permettant qu'il y ait une négociation et une transition politique.
The remarks by the French president came just before U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson arrived in Moscow for the first time as the American top diplomat, carrying a unified message from Western powers denouncing Russia's support for the Syrian government of President Bashar Assad. The visit by Secretary Tillerson carries a Western demand of Moscow to choose between its current alliance with the Islamic Republic of Iran and Syria's government, or with the West in general and Washington in particular. That said, U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis announced that the tension between the United States and Russia will not spiral out of control following Washington's cruise missile strike on Syria.
It will not spiral out of control. As you know, Secretary of State Tillerson is in Moscow. We maintain communications with the Russian military and with the diplomatic channels. It will not spiral out of control.
The American top defense official stressed that Washington had proof that President Assad's forces had used chemical weapons several times during the course of the deadly conflict raging in his country. Secretary Mattis warned that the use of chemical weapons was a red line for the Trump administration, while speculating, based on the significant damage the strike inflicted on Assad's air force, that the Syrian president has regretted the chemical attack.
Barbara, we believe that Assad has used chemical weapons several times over the last several years, violated the international law that has prohibited their use since 1925. Syria is a signatory to that international convention. For them to have done this several times recently, over the last several years, is what I mean by recently. You've got to ask him why he chose now to try it again. I trust he regrets it now, considering the damage done to his Air Force. But when I say he should think long and hard about it, I'll just let the mission speak for itself on that score.
Now to Moscow, where Russian President Vladimir Putin said that his country had information that there were plans to fake chemical weapons attacks in Syria, in the same way that Washington, under the Bush administration, deceived the world to gain legitimacy to attack in Iraq in 2003. President Putin, in a joint press conference with his Italian counterpart, Sergio Mattarella, said that Moscow would not tolerate Western criticism of its role in Syria, but hoped that attitude would eventually soften.
Я сказал, что это мне сильно напоминает события 2003 года, когда представители Соединенных Штатов в Совете Безопасности показывали якобы химическое оружие, обнаруженное в Ираке. После этого началась кампания в Ираке военная, а закончилась разрушением страны, ростом террористической угрозы и появлением ИГИЛ на международной сцене. Почему это происходит? Ну, все хотят восстановить отношения с западным сообществом. После того, как благодаря бывшей администрации США многие европейские страны заняли такую антитрамповскую позицию в ходе избирательной кампании. Очень хорошая платформа для консолидации. Сирия, Россия, есть общий враг. Замечательно. Мы готовы потерпеть, только мы надеемся, что это выйдет все-таки на какой-то позитивный тренд взаимодействия.
Russia has defended the Syrian government against Western allegations that claim it was behind the chemical attack in Syria's rebel-held province of Idlib, stressing there is no evidence to underpin such allegations. President Vladimir Putin announced Russia would be urgently asking the global chemical weapons watchdog, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, to investigate the incident. Thank you for watching us. Praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hessen. Have a Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
In order to donate to TV7 Israel News, please follow these simple steps. First, press the Donate logo, located at the bottom left side of TV7 Israel News Facebook page, or on the Donate tab at the head of the page. Then insert the amount you'd like to donate, and fill in your credit card information. Just like this. And press Review Donation and continue. After reviewing your donation details, please press Donate to finalize your donation. That's it! Your donation is now complete, and an email with your donation details has been sent to your email address. You can also print your donation receipt by pressing the link here. Thank you for supporting TV7 Israel News.